No cap sauce. We pour it so you can drip.
On my official YouTube channel, please remember to subscribe and smash the bell to be notified when a new video posts on the all-new official Dwayne Omar YouTube channel. Welcome to No Cap Sauce, where we pour it so you can drip. I'm producer Dwayne Omar, and this is part 2 of Before New Edition, New Kids on the Block, and Bobby Brown. They were mentors. The Boston music scene, these early 80s, had quite a few genius arrangers and producers. There was, I can name a few off the top of my head. Gordon Worthy, a very prolific writer and producer who had a partner by the name of Larry Wu, aka Larry Wedgeworth. Larry, in my opinion, was one of the most brilliant singers I ever heard sing. I actually had the opportunity of hearing him perform live at a club one time, and I said, wow, he still got it. He was like a legend around town. And later on, like many others, he ended up working with Maurice Starr as well. But there was Marco Thunder, 9.9. Planet Patrol, but before Planet Patrol, there was a group called the Energetics. There was another band I can think of called Hawkeye, and they were doing their things, and they were already well in their mix before I even got in the game, and I would hear about them, and it was just a blessing to be able to be surrounded by that much genius. So I'm going to pick up where I left off on part 1. Make sure you subscribe and smash the notification. The music business is a business, and you hear some of the same stories from different artists over the years, but when we grow up and we look back at it, we know some of the things that we could have done differently. No cap sauce. In terms of representation, in terms of attorneys that weren't playing both sides of the table, you know what I mean? You can't blame everything on the industry is just dirty. No. Well, people that do their homework or have someone in the family who understands business can go so much further, so much sooner. No cap. I'm gonna go back to after I did my first 3 demos that Prince Charles Alexander helped me produce when I was about 14, I believe it was. And I was introduced to Maurice Starr, and we recorded it at the House of Hits. The House of Hits was known around town because Maurice Starr and Michael Johnson had done About Time I Funk You, which was on the RCA label. They had done Baby Come On, which was 2 anthems as far as I was concerned. When I was in school, I used to hear those. And I remember the first time I seen Maurice Starr perform at the Kite Festival of Franklin Park. And when he got off stage, he jumped in the limo, and the girls chased the limo. I said, man, I want that. I want that. So the connection that was made as a result of Tony Rose and Prince Charles to Maurice Starr ended up turning into, just a few months later, my first single deal with a independent label out of Florida called Survivor Records. I believe the president's name was Frank Hart, and Maurice Starr had introduced me to him. Basically, Maurice just made a phone call, and the guy heard my stuff, and which was This Party's Jam Packed. They It wasn't one of the three that I did with Prince Charles. It was something I did actually later. And what ended up happening was I started to spread my wings a little bit as a writer and a producer. But at the same time, I always had a side hustle. So my side hustle, I was a drummer for Maurice Starr. Prior to New Kids on the Block actually taking off, and sometime before he really started making some serious money off of the New Edition project, he was playing a club called Doc's Place on the corner. I think it was Harrison Ave and was that, I forget the name of that other street, but near the old Boston City Hospital. Yeah, I was born there, should know, but I don't think it's called that anymore. But anyway, I was making $25 a night as a drummer for Maurice Starr. And I was only like 14, 15. I had other money coming from other places, so that was just like, I just wanted to play. So one night, while I was playing, actually during our break, during our intercession, we would play probably for about 45 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer. If people were on the dance floor, then we knew not to stop. And it was just us two. Maurice would play like an ARP Odyssey or Juno 106 bass in his left hand, and in his right hand he'd have the Oberheim or the DX7 or whatever, or sometimes both. And so he played the bass on his left hand, he played the chords and the lines, everything with his right hand, and I played the drums. And we did that. Primarily, the audience was a middle-aged audience, predominantly white, even though that area had, it was like up the street from the hood. So now you'd call it the hood because the Methadone Mile is not far from there right now, but we're talking like the 80s. So anyway, every Friday and every Saturday, we would go on about 9 o'clock, and we would play several sets and breaks in between until the club actually closed. And within that time, Maurice Starr and I kind of got close. At one point, I kind of became his driver because there was a young lady that used to come down from time to time to see us from Rhode Island by the name of Robin. Real pretty young lady, kind of remind you a little bit of Vanity or Apollonia, something like that. And she lived in Newport. And I don't know why Maurice didn't drive, but sometime I'd be driving his white van, sometime I'd be driving my mother's station wagon. But I would drive him to go drop her off. And sometimes he'd stay a little while and then he'd leave, and then I'd drive him back home, then I'd go home. And my mother would be like, why were you out so late? I said, well, I had a whatever. But as long as it was music related, I kind of got away with it, Fast forward, we went in the studio when I was about 15. And it was a 16-track studio owned by Ken, I believe you pronounce his name, Canavis. And I remember meeting Paul Arnold there. He worked there at some point. But anyway, Maurice Starr played bass on This Party's Jam Packed. I played the drums and I played the chords and the keyboard and some of the percussion. And one of my high school classmates, who was also a drummer, we used to rehearse at his mom's house. She let us rehearse in the basement back in the day, Mrs. Marsh. John Marsh played the cowbell on This Party's Jam Pack. As a matter of fact, I remember when I hear it to this day, I still see this song sometimes selling for $200 or $300 just for the single. Like some of the other stuff in my catalog, because you can't get it anymore. When things are not available, the price goes up. But anyway, I was recording a song for the label that Maurice hooked me up with in Miami. And there was a show that used to come on called Super Kids. The host was Tom Bergeron, who ended up being the host of No Cap, Hollywood Squares, and I believe So You Think You Can Dance, in one of those other shows like America's Got Talent or something. But Tom Bergeron, if you Google him, I mean, you'll know his face. Channel 4 for many years. So anyway, in that show, I contacted a producer by the name of Garland Waller. I believe she's teaching. She's a professor at Brandeis or one of these colleges in the New England area, because I actually reached out to her about 10 years ago and we kind of reminisced a little bit. But I contacted her and I ended up on the show, and it featured me showing me playing all the instruments on This Pot Is Jam Packed. Maurice Starr actually played the bass. It was the only song I ever recorded that I didn't play bass on, because I liked the way he played better at the time. I was still developing. But Maurice killed the bass synthesizer on This Pot Is Jam Packed. And that song became like a ghetto anthem. And even to this day, whenever I play that song live, even if it's with my band or the stage and the floor gets packed, I believe it was around 2011 maybe, I came back home. When I say home, back to Boston, because I had moved to California in '95. And I came back and did kind of like a homecoming show at the Strand Theater. And shout out to Big Trav. His group opened up. And shout out to LT, Larry Thomas. He was on guitar. I call him Steve, Steve-O. You know Stevie, the funkiest keyboard player on the planet. Stevie from the Johnson Crew. He was on stage with me. Jonathan Gates, Uncle JG, he hosted the show, and it was a lot of fun. And when we did This Pot Is Jam Packed, I thought Would You Marry Me got a reaction in Boston, but when I did This Pot Is Jam Packed, that whole stage got so full, there was almost nobody left in the audience. They all came on stage. I invited them on stage, but I thought a few would come. All of them came. I started thinking about those videos that you see where too many people on the stage and the stage collapsed, so I got a little nervous. But anyway, it was a great time. Shout out to the Strand Theater. Going back to this show, Super Kids, that aired, I believe it was syndicated. It kind of caused a little rift for a short time for me between Maurice Starr and I, because even though I didn't produce the show, I didn't executive produce the show, I didn't edit the show. When the executive producers and the those that edited this program did their edits, they cut Maurice out because they wanted, it was called Super Kids, so they wanted to make it about a kid. And I was 14, 15, and so even though he was very much a part of helping me with This Pot Is Jam Packed, even down to distribution, when the show aired, it only showed the host, it showed the studio, it showed me playing all the instruments, but it cut Maurice Starr out. And he didn't say it to me directly, but I heard from Eddie Petway, R.I.P., who used to be, he was almost like everything from a road manager to security to, he was just always around, Maurice and his brothers back in the day. And I had heard through the grapevine that Maurice was upset with me because he wasn't in the final cut. It's not like it is today. Today, I'm involved in every aspect of everything when it comes to production, anything I put my hands on. But back then, we didn't know we can do that, nor did we know we can place a demand to make that happen. So anyway, I had nothing to do with it. And to this day, I hope he knows that. Okay. But anyway, the music business is a business. And one of the mistakes that most people make is thinking because they're talented and they got some good or even great material, that that's going to get it done. In a perfect world, that would be the case. But it's about numbers, it's about sales. And People have different gifts. I spoke about this on my religious show, my ministry show on Facebook last night. We were all given gifts. Just like some people can dance, some people can sing, some people can rap, some people can write, some people can produce, some can do it all. But if you don't have that person with the gift to sell whatever you're doing, that person or that team that has the expertise to be able to sell whatever product that you come up with, then you have nothing. There's a lot of crappy product that did well financially because of the team that was behind the product. Think about it. I don't want to throw nobody under the bus, but I'll just put it this way. Do you really think Young MC was a great rapper? Or was it he had a great record and a strong team behind him? You get it? No shade on Young MC. I'm trying to give you, there's a vast difference between the almighty RSO crew from Boston and Young MC. A big difference between Uncle Luke rapping and Rakim. You get what I'm saying? So talent alone will not get it done unless you have someone talented in sales. From the folks that I was blessed to be around in the 80s, and I'm going to go into the 90s on the next video. But if they were not on the planet, and I reiterate this, there would have been no New Edition, no Bobby Brown, no New Kids on the Block, no Perfect Gentlemen, no Classic Example, even though they were a different group in terms of name before that. I can go on and on and on. And I know Maurice had worked with other groups like the Stylistics and Donna Summers and others. But my point is this. The vision that you have for your career, if you can't pay for it, and you find someone who is willing to fund it, you can best believe that they're going to expect to have some input in directing that vision because they have to get a return on their investment. So, many people give up a lot at the very beginning because they want to get put on. And there's a couple of doors that you can go through. Some are willing to do whatever it takes. I was never willing to do whatever it took because I remember a time in New York at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. It was after a concert. Rolling back just a little bit. I was probably about 14, and I was in a big suite with a bunch of celebrities, and the ones that I can name, because I recognized them even back then, were like Ashford and Simpson. I believe Ben Vereen was there. Some members of Hall & Oates, a few folks that you would recognize. And I think Melba Moore was there. And somebody passed me a bowl, almost like a cereal bowl of cocaine. And I looked at it and I just passed it on. I knew what it was, even that young, I knew what it was, and I knew it wasn't for me. The point is, there will be many things offered to you because there is a devil. And I'm trying to keep this from me end up preaching to you. But there are devils that want to pimp your gift. And how you come into the business is how they'll try to keep you contained if you want to stay on. That's why a lot of artists almost have a rebirth later on in their career. I give you a perfect example. When Toni Braxton first came on the scene, Toni Braxton came in, far as the world knew, under LA and Babyface. LA and Babyface doing their writing and their producing, selecting their songs, and Tony was not allowed to have much input. It was successful the way it was, but if you're a writer, you do want to write. If you're a arranger, you want to arrange. So when the subsequent projects came and she wanted to have more input, those funding the projects started feeling some kind of way, because in their mind they had the perfect recipe. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's not just exclusive to Tony. That's with everything. When New Edition first came on, everybody was writing everything for them and doing what they thought was good for them. But I know Ralph and Ricky wrote stuff together. I know that everybody knows Johnny's a writer, but Johnny wasn't in the group yet. My point is this: however you come in, that's the way they'll try to keep you. That's why, if you're fortunate enough to have someone to fund your vision or fund your dream before the world is convinced that your stuff will sell, then that's the best route to go, because you've already demonstrated by your very presence and by the very fact that your product is moving that someone wants to hear it. And it'll be easier for you to make those lucrative deals later on down the line. This is producer Dwayne Omar, and I thank you for watching No Cap Sauce, where I'll pour it so you can drip. I post new content every single week. This particular one, I'm probably going to end up posting it early, not due until Tuesday, March 8th, but I'll probably edit this before time, so you'll probably see this before then. This program is sponsored by Sonia Lee Robinson, author of Counting Your Blessings Journal. Go to Amazon and cop that now. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button, and you'll know it's time to watch something and get some more game. This is producer Dwayne Omar, and thank you for watching No Cap Sauce. See you on the next video.